Well, level 10. This is usually where I more or less start playing about, how can I put this? Basically getting resources for like the end game. Now, I'll basically sort of give you a little heads up. There's essentially only three levels, including this one, to get to like the end of the game. And basically at floor 10, you really should be devoting your time to basically gathering up more food or more industry for like the the final levels. So basically having a lot of food for basically healing up your heroes with, getting final levels that you want to get on your heroes done, and build up industry for like building up modules when you get to like the final level. Essentially on level 12, there's going to be there are no other levels past that, so it's like the hardest level there is. And to make it hard, the developers basically made it so like the level itself had a whole lot less major module slots, minor module slots, and the toughest monsters that'll spawn during that level. But anyhow, floor 10 is not going to be too bad compared to it. I'm still going to be able to get some resources here. Now let's go up here first. There's a little bit of science. I think we'll start off by building some industry over here, in lieu of the final level coming on. And there's a nice oh, well, a stairless here, but that's also a good room to build a module in eventually. I'm gonna move Gork into that room for now, and I'll move Max down here. Uh oh. So here's an example where these things are going to attack my crystal here. Or fail to attack the crystal. Works for me. Okay, you got the power to power up these rooms, so let's move everyone down to this room for now. I'll build a food replicator here, and I'll build... Let's build 3 Tesla modules in this room. And since I'm kind of low on dust, and there's like, only a few levels that, rooms that have been cleared here, I'm going to use Max to explore a little bit more, to get a little bit more dust, hopefully. So the nice thing about using Max is that you can use him to operate if you need him to, but if you need to basically get dust for you, he can basically pilfer the rooms that he basically opens up when he explores the dungeon for you. And that's really what I'm after right now, basically having Max here do some exploration for us. So far we've got the snake-like chimeras there, and we've also got the little globs, the pink elite globs. Or actually, every monster at this point will be elite, so that's pretty, whatever. Alright, let's try going up here. And I'll look beyond this door. Unfortunately, this room doesn't have any, It didn't have a major module slot in there, but oh well. Let's try going over here. Open up this door. And again, no major module slot in there. There are enemies. There are enemies in that room. Note, by the way, that snake only has a limited amount of range, so if your guy runs away far enough from it, it won't be able to hit you. But it'll still slow you down. I think I'll make use of this room again for, like, the thing I was doing last time with the SD blasters. I'll basically make a long room that enemies will get killed in, with a neurostar slowing them down. So let's build a science area in this room, a neurostunner right here. And you know what? Let's build a pepper spray too, to cause enemies to go crazy. And we'll put 3 SD blasters here basically to hurt enemies that enter the room. So there's a nice little step to basically confuse and damage enemies as they run around in that room. Alright, looks like that's the last room over here. That's fine. I think we'll go back up here again. It looks like the steel light's gone over here, so I can build maybe another industry right here. Now, I'll note by I'm sort of exploring up here a little bit, just because I basically, whenever I get spirit dust, I want to explore in this direction a little bit, and I'll basically defend over here. That stuff will basically come in that direction. That's basically my plan of attack here, so to speak. I won't put very major defenses in this way. We'll put a few prison prods to basically harass stuff as it basically enters around here, and to basically attract the attention of those pink blobs. And that'll be more or less my plan of attack here, more or less. So let's see what's in this direction, or more or less is what I'm after. There's a research module. And here's the room where, like, you know, I got the pepper spray and SC blasters. Alright, so there's the guy definitely confused, as you can see. So he's basically attacking the other enemies for me. The Hurna right there. That guy's confused as well. Now they're attacking each other. Now it's worth knowing that when these like guys are basically left alone in a room with, like, you know, turrets like this, and there's no other enemies for them to attack, they basically sit there and get killed. So we'll just let them watch and get killed here. Alright, that is fun to watch. A little bit of dust for all the trouble in there. Let's go up here and do some research, as well as maybe explore a little bit more in these rooms over here. Since I got like the spirit dust in this room over here that I can make use of. I think we'll skip trying to research this stuff. We'll just go for your suppressive firebolt, the bioorganic transference at this point, and we'll go for this next. Alright, there's the last room in this direction. Power this down room. Power up this room. We'll build our industry right here. I'm basically going to focus a lot on industry for this level. I'll focus on a little bit of science to try and get the suppressive firebolt, the bioorganic transference up to tier 4, so that basically they're useful if I want to use them. And outside of all that stuff, I'll also basically try and stockpile a little bit of science for when I basically want to reset Nano's abilities every so often in the future. Alright, let's go down here one more. That's a nice big room. Power it up too. Alright. Now, this little image up here with like the rider and the alert that basically popped up on it, this is the first encounter with a special monster that basically has happened for his Let's Learn. And I'll note that you could have found this guy probably earlier in the levels, but since I found him now, I'll basically tell him a little bit about what he does. So, we're essentially going to have a Hurna Warrior. And he's not here. But he is right here. So this is the Hurna Warrior. Or not the Hurna Warrior, this is the Hurna Rider. The Hurna Rider is basically a special monster, and how he operates, he'll basically run toward a random door in a dungeon that's yet to be opened. And he'll actually try and get to that door and try and open it on you. And when he does that, he may potentially spawn more monsters that'll basically pop out, you know, in another wave. Or you might be able to like find mercenaries and stuff like that. Basically, whatever basically happens beyond that door. It basically has a new open door, a new turn. So this guy basically advances your turns when you may not want him to, and he's actually really, you know, deadly monster sometimes. So you have to really watch out for him because he can be really a big nuisance to you at the worst of times. All right, let's get Nanner and Max over here. Now I should be okay because he's gonna get confused by the pepper spray over here. And even if he doesn't get confused, he'll basically, well, he won't be a nuisance too much. Also notice that there's like this archer type of guy right here. He's essentially just like a hero killer. He'll basically go to a random hero and start attacking it, wherever it is in the dungeon. He's not too deadly or anything like that, but he's worth knowing that he can be a pain if you don't watch out for him. Because he does do a lot of damage. Okay, both these guys got confused there. Alright, so is this guy now? Looks like my defenses aren't going to go off him, so let's just go kill him. So, that was the Hurna Rider, the first instance of him basically showing up. You want to watch out for those guys because they can be a real nuisance if you're not careful. And more often than not, they can, like, you know, cause you to basically lose a run because they can just overwhelm you with monsters from, like, open doors. I might actually, you know, see that actually happen at some point, but we'll have to wait a little bit until it pops up that it actually happens. Let's build a bunch of Prison Pros in here and a Neuro Stunner. And at this point, I think we're fine leaving Nano over here because there's lots of defenses on these rooms, so let's just have Max maybe, actually, you know what? I've got to go over here with Golgi. Let's actually open up these doors above Golgi here a little bit. Now, I'll note, by the way, that I'm very careful of operators basically operating because if they're attacked, you don't really want to move them, right? So it's basically best to try and avoid getting your operators attacked sometimes. And Golgi in particular, she has very low health. She only has like 1,000 at level 10 here, as you can see. And don't have leveled her up, you know, to these other guys. She is considerably a lot weaker than most other heroes in terms of defense and, like, HP. The thing about her, though, is that she is capable of, you know, getting you a little bit more dust when she does kill stuff, so she is good to have around. You just have to watch out for her, more or less, most of the time. But one room she should be able to handle, so let's open up the door here. And it's a self-powered room, very nice. I'll put this here. And let's put a couple of smoking guns here. Basically, I'll open up a few crew rooms up here just so that Golgi can have a little bit of action coming to her, so she can basically help out. It's usually best to have all your heroes at least, you know, being able to defend against something, you know, to maximize your hero's usage. So you just want to be careful of, like, the operators, because when they basically get, you know, attacked, if they have to run away, then, you know, you're going to lose your operating bonus they basically are giving you to. Alright, this stuff here, I'm not going to buy any of it because I'm basically focused on, you know, just getting the Firebolt Suppressor and the Bioorganic Transference going, so let's work on those a little bit more. Once I get the Bioorganic Transference up to tier 4, and the Firebolt Suppressor up to tier 4, that'll be when I'll stop researching for sure, because I've probably done enough research already, and it is good to basically showcase that you want to basically store up your resources for, like, the final levels, which I haven't really been doing. Level 10 is really the last, you know, the last level you should be doing any research or, like, you know, leveling of your heroes, more or less. Oop, they confused the Hurna Warrior there. That's fun to watch. That was fun to watch. This thing actually killed that thing. That's not something you see every day. Alright, so that's out of the way. We found a diff dealer up here, so let's look at the stuff he has. And you know what? This is probably a good time maybe to level up Golgi a little bit, just so she has a little bit more HP. So I'll get her up to get Pickpocket 2. And sure, we'll get her up to 3, so I basically have Skulker 2 as well. So that'll basically help out Golgi a little bit. Now, as you can see, she's got like 1232 HP. That's a little bit under Max over here. A little bit over Nana, who's only at level 11. But it'll help out to basically keep her alive. Alright, this guy deals in dust, so I might buy some stuff from him when I'm basically leaving, but for now we'll basically ignore him. And push on. There's a self-powered room. And it looks like some monsters spawn here, which is quite nice to kill. And Golgi will kill that for me. That guy will slowly get killed. But I'm gonna send my max in here and I'll probably be able to kill it without taking too much damage anyways, so. That's done. Let's power up these rooms, why not? I'll build a little bit more defense up here and here. Do that stuff over here. Maybe a pepper spray right here. A neuro stunner over here. And I probably have enough rooms with modules at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could build one more, I guess. I guess I'll build one more, but this will probably be the last module I'll build for this level for resource gathering. And at this point, I'll probably start focusing more on like the, you know, the tactical HUD, the land modules, a shop if I need it. Now, note by the way that as these like Hurna Riders move around, you can actually hear their audio in specific places sometimes. So if I'm around here, you actually start hearing the audio of this guy. If you're over here and you don't hear the audio, it means that he's not in that area. So that's something like to sort of like give you a telltale sign when he's around. Alright, he's dead. Alright, Golgi's got a lot of defenses above her, so I think we can maybe open up some doors up here for her. Though I probably should go check my research before I basically go open that door up there. And I'll note by the way that the Audox shards, these are actually something to take note of. While HP regen is probably not the best thing to possibly have in like, you know, this game, there is like, you know, a point to basically getting the Audox shards researched at some point sometimes. But at level 10 I won't worry about it because it's basically too far in. Though they are cheap to basically analyze, and I figure I can, you know, stop to get them. So let's just, you know, I'll waste some time researching just so I don't have to worry about, you know, spending more to basically reset the research instead. So there's like, you know, I'm spending 10 less research to basically research that, than to basically just skip right ahead to try and get the suppressive firebolt 4 or the bioorganic transference 4. But the Audox shards, they're actually really important sometimes. There's a point in the game where you'll find another special monster, and they can be really good against them because they basically let you regenerate your health. Which is good against that certain special monster. Alright. Everything's dead. So I got 2 rooms up here, with one with a cryo capsule. And these defenses should be able to handle most of them before they even get to Golgi, so that's fine. There's a little bit of food for my trouble of opening that. In hindsight, cryo capsules are probably one of the few things that you probably shouldn't open as much, because the trade-off for food is probably not that great. But there is some point to basically opening them up if you want to basically use the major module slots that are underneath them, so you might want to open up for that reason. Let's open up this room over here. Nice, self-powered. That's all dead. So that was fun to watch. That's the nice thing about pepper sprays, as you can see, though. They can basically help you reduce a lot of the enemy movement by having like monsters attack each other. And they're really good against strong monsters like those snakes or like the Hurna Warriors, because those guys, they take up a huge chunk of his spawn power. Basically, in this game, like rooms will have like a certain amount of spawn power, like for like, you know, low level of power each unit can basically have. Bigger units like the Hurna Warriors or like those snakes, they take a lot more power to basically spawn. So there's fewer in number than like the ones like, say, like the little glob, the pink globs, which basically take very little to spawn. So you get basically huge amounts of those guys, and like, you know, very little Hurna Warriors. Basically, pepper spray is good against strong monsters out. You can basically draw away from like the, you know, the attack for your attacks. All right, looks like that's everything over here. And let's do one more reset here, I guess. Why don't we research that again? Maybe we'll get Dock 2 as well. Alright, open the doors down here. Okay, a dust factory. Nice, more dust. Let's power up these rooms over here then. And I'll build some tactical HUDs on these. And I'll build a bunch of Tesla modules in these minor module slots. And let's just open up the doors in this direction then a little bit more. Alright, there's another quick draw, but I already have one, so I won't really worry about it. There's a research artifact. And if I want to, I can actually make use of this one because there's nothing that attacks research modules in this floor. Of the monsters I've basically seen, none will attack modules, so, or the artifacts, so I'll basically be able to use it without any worry about it getting destroyed. And I'll get the bioorganic transference, you know, leveled up, which will be nice. Let's go over here. I'll basically look for... Damn, I was hoping a Claymore would basically pop up, but whatever. We'll do one more reset. One more reset. And as you can see, I've run out of science at this point, so it does cost a lot to keep resetting your research, so you want to be very careful about doing it too many times. And it's good, you know, sometimes to use cheaper, you know, the modules that you can basically research, because it'll basically give you more time to research more modules, or, you know, just basically get more science pumped out over time that it takes to research whatever you're doing. Nothing here. Alright, we'll basically power that room up. And there's a merchant. Alright, I was waiting to finally find this guy. Now, the only problem with this guy is that he's a dust dealing merchant, so I want to basically keep him alive, unfortunately. So, what I may do at some point, I may actually tear this down, or actually I can do it right now. And we'll move him over here. And we'll deal with him later. So that's out of the way. So I'm only going to do research on this module for now, which is just fine, because I don't have a whole lot of science to do research with. And we'll do research on this now, since I got the science for it. Alright, there's Sarah. So, Sarah Numez. This is one of the starting characters that you could recruit if you want to, or you could basically start a game with. It's probably the only character I don't recommend you ever start a game with. At the start of the game, if you're basically starting out, because Sarah's really, really weak at the start. But I want to note something here. Sarah's actually not that weak of a character once she gets like to level 8. And I'm not sure if you saw it, but there's actually something called an aftershave item, which is basically being offered by the merchant over here. That item in Sarah are a very lethal combination. If you can put that item on Sarah, you'll make your life very, very easy for you. Very easy for you. Essentially, this aftershave item gives you the ability Skulker, and that's basically, if you call from I basically said about the goals you hear, Skulker is that ability that basically lets you basically get ignored by monsters. So with that ability on, Sarah basically can be ignored by monsters, and that's great because Sarah is basically one of the squishiest characters in game. She's basically a glass cannon or a glass melee fighter. She dies very easily, but she's very, very powerful when she basically is, not attacked. She's probably gonna get killed, but it's worth knowing that if you basically have a party slot open and you find Sarah at this point where she's level 8 and it's like floor 10, she's not a bad pickup. And even if you have Gork in your party, and I'll note that there's something very bad about having Gork and Sarah together, because they basically have a storyline where bad things happen at the end of the storyline. Even at level 10, if you have Gork and Sarah in a party together like this, at level 10, it's okay to basically have them around. And basically get through a dungeon with both Sarah and Gork at the end, so she's not bad. Whoops. Alright, good. Note by the way that if you move your character and you move her out of the room, you'll basically lose your bonus for your research bonus. But if you actually keep her in the room, you do this, you do this, she'll still keep the bonus, as you can see for the operating system. The operating symbol, rather. Alright, well, let's just continue on. Power up this room. And if I wanted to, I could actually make use of the defenses over here at this point, so let's build a bunch of prisoner prods. And we'll open up the doors in this direction a little bit. Nice, I'll dock research shards, and I got myself a photon decelerator. Alright, so we got an alert symbol on the door down here. Alright, so this is worth noting. Depending on where the Hurna Rider spawned, if he spawned in this area right here, he'll be able to get to that door, and you'll basically be able to see why he's just basically a nuisance. And there he is. Here's what he does. He basically starts opening a door on you. And when he opens it, you can get more waves coming at you. And unfortunately for Sarah, she's about to get killed. So, bye-bye, Sarah. Now, luckily it looks like this guy here, this Hurna Warrior, he's going to have to basically go up to this door, because that's the only available door. But you want to be very careful with these guys, because if they open a bunch of doors in mass, and you have more guys spawning you, and as you can see, I've already got more guys spawning on me right now, so I'll basically have 4 waves, and then whatever is in addition to that coming at me. So we'll basically say 5 waves. So now I've got 4 plus 5 waves of enemies coming at me at once. So 9 waves of enemies are now coming at me. And because I powered down this room to basically showcase that, they're coming from here as well. So we're going to have lots of enemies coming at me all at once. Alright, time for this. And that's one good thing about cooking with gas. When there's lots of enemies, it still all affects every single one. Well, let's kill all these guys who killed Sarah. And that's all it for that little wave, that big wave. And notice that there's basically some industry there for me to pick up if I want, which I will at some point when I get down there. And I can do that from there if I want to, so I might as well use him. It's not like I have to send Max everywhere, right? I can always use the other guys if they're not operating. And we'll send Max to do a bit more exploration for me. And let's just do this though. I don't want to have too much stuff coming from this direction, so we'll basically build some appropriate defenses over here. And why? We'll do some over here as well. And it looks like I actually got some more research I can do right now, so I might as well do that. And Neurostunner. Let's put on a tear gas here. Actually, you know what? Let's put a whole lot of tear gas. So the tear gas is basically just like damage over time type of weapon that basically will damage stuff and divide their defense. I don't consider it a very powerful weapon, but it can be very useful. Essentially, this will do like 8 damage per to every single monster in the room. It's kind of like the SE Blaster, except that the SE Blaster will hit. Essentially, the SE Blaster will hit like enemies like all in the room at once for a whole lot of damage at once, while like the tear gas will basically damage them over time. Well, we'll do that too. We'll put an SE Blaster in here. These are excellent paired up like this. Alright, well, we gotta basically do more research. And I think I'm gonna reset it one more time. Alright, so there's the Doc Shards 4. Might as well get those because I'm already, almost tier 4 of them. I've almost researched, might as well finish research. And I'll note by you probably should take into account, but it might be better not to basically do research sometimes. If you basically have like, basically stuff to research, and like you only got like a few levels left, and it's basically like tossing like 40 science basically reset your research every single time. It might be better to keep that research for later, just when you can use it for like say resetting Nair's abilities or someone else's abilities and stuff like that. And I'll note that over here is Ken. So here's Ken. Now I'll note that Ken is another guy you can basically recruit, and there's something to note though about recruiting right now. So I'm not sure, but basically you have to hold these guys for like 3 levels to be able to make use of their abilities. So in this case, Ken here, for example, I would have to keep him around until, well, I think I might be able to get away with recruiting him now on floor 10 and still being able to unlock him. But basically, at this point, floor 10 is probably like, if you're recruiting heroes at this point, it's because you lost someone stupidly. Not to basically be unlocking them into your your starting roster for later. But anyhow, here's Ken. He's a pretty cool hero, and he's not too bad of a hero to unlock. But we won't worry about him. We'll just try and get out of the dungeon at this point. All right, there's the last door of his dungeon. And apparently I didn't have the research going because I forgot about it, or whatnot. Yeah, as you can see, these guys are slowly taking damage over time. And just one thing to note about Ken, by the way. He's much like Serenade as a glass fighter, so he's probably gonna die. And there he goes. You know what, this is a good time maybe to reset his abilities and use Quick with Gas. So let's do that. Alright, well, I guess at this point it's just time to leave. I'll get everyone to go down to the exit for Max, I guess. We'll have you carry the crystal. Make sure there's nothing in here to pick up. I can also use it to repair the SE blasters over there. Let's power up these rooms. I'll basically power down this room and power up this room. Alright. So I'll note that because I basically have, lots of dust I can basically spend. I don't really care about too much about trying to get out of here. I got all this stuff that I can basically buy perhaps, so let's look at the stuff. This guy uses swords, so let's see if I get a good sword for him. And I did. That's the Occam's Gouge, which is a very good weapon. Let's see if I can also pick up a good, trinket as well. And I didn't, but oh well. So, I want to note, by the way, that the energy bar, this is a very odd item that you basically use. Basically, this gives you the ability to operate, but also gives you a speed bonus. It's sort of like, an item that's basically good for like the speed, like if you need to run around a lot, or it's good for the operate if you need to basically, you know, operate on something a lot. Alright, let's send Max over to the merchant. And just so you can see the difference between this rapier and the Alchemist's Gouge. Basically, the rapier will give me more speed and more attack cooldown, but the Alchemist's Gouge basically gives a lot more damage and also gives a little bit of wit. So, a fairly interesting weapon. It's not the best that you can basically get for Chef Nanner here, but it's a good weapon nonetheless compared to the rapier. Alright, now of the stuff in here, there's actually some stuff I want to buy. This RT shirt is a really great defensive item. As you can see, it basically will increase Max's defense by 23 at the cost of that HP from the Guardian form. I can also put it on Gork here at the cost of the HP and XP regen. I think though we'll put it on Max, so let's go with here. I'll put that on. The rescue kit is also not that bad. It basically increases your wit, your attack power, and your HP regen all at once. So compared to this Happy Pills, this is actually a much better item. And since I didn't find another wit item to basically, put on, except for his tools belt, which didn't. Oh no, by the way, you can actually use the tools belt as like a wit item. Though, to be honest, it's not really all that beneficial for Golgi here because Golgi already has repairs naturally, so this doesn't really help her that much. By the way, if you have operators in the future that don't have repair, and there are some operators that don't actually have repair on them, this can be a really good item for them because this basically lets them repair stuff in the room and then go right back to operating. So it's a really nice convenient item to have for that type of thing. But anyhow, we're gonna basically put on the rescue kit over here on Golgi, and I'm gonna keep this aftershave too. And yeah, I've used a lot of my dust fireball, I'll be selling stuff in a moment. We'll give this to Golgi here. And of the stuff that I have up here, we're going to basically move down all that stuff, put the aftershave up here. I'm basically keeping this aftershave because this is a really awesome item for handling special monsters. Besides also being put on Sarah if you have her. And let's just see. What are the items that are best to sell to the merchant? Alright, so he says that this is worth 14 gold, this is worth 14 gold, this is worth 17 gold. Alright, so my best items are the Photon Decelerator, the Tools Belt, and the Energy Bar. And everything else is just not as good. So the Tools Belt, the Photon Decelerator, and all this stuff here is basically going to get sold. So keep all this. Sell all the rest. Yeah, sell all the rest. There's some dust, basically make up for all the stuff I sold. It's not as much as what I started out with, but whatever. I can have more than enough dust to basically get out of here if I need to, so it's fine. Basically power up what I can toward the exit so I don't have to worry about, stuff basically happening, to my hero. All the stuff that's in my backpack will be saved for next floor. And that's basically going to be it for floor 10. On floor 11, I'll basically look to finish up my research on the Audox Shards and the Suppressive Firebolt. And besides that, I'll be building up perhaps more food to maybe level up one of these other characters. Perhaps. But I'll note by the way that I'll basically decide all that in the next level. Alright, so that's basically it for floor 10. I'll catch you next time when we jump into floor 11.